Hey, thanks for clicking on my video. Just want to show you the end product before we get into the step-by-step process of getting here. Obviously it's not finished, but that's going to be in a step 2 video with the stonework. So I started this project because it was actually in the middle of COVID when it first started, and I had found an ad on Facebook for free stones, which I thought were stones like this, which were much easier to deal with, but ended up being stones of the real nature like this. So I was there, had my truck, I just picked them up and I said, what the hell, let's go for it. I also had a bunch of material like the fire bricks, some cinder blocks, these limestone stair treads, and also the ceramic flue that goes inside there that you'll see later on, were all items that I had. This log rack that was in there, I had a couple of those actually, and so these are all the remainder of the stones. And little tip, if you have trees that are close together like that, you could also use it as a nice privacy screen / wood rack, and it worked out well. It's really close to the fireplace, so I'm able to access and utilize the wood pretty good. So we ran this a bunch of times, 40-50 degree weather, put off a nice amount of heat, smoke went straight up, which was the main purpose. We've had fire pits before. Everybody goes home smelling like, you know, a chimney. So this worked out really well and allowed us to spend more time in the yard when it got colder, like it is about to next month. So if this video helps you out, please smash the like button, subscribe. If I'm talking slow throughout the video, some people don't know this, go into the settings and select the speed that you'd like to listen. This way, you know, if I talk too slow, or if I had too many brain farts and, you know, little gaps in my sentences, you could just bypass that and get the information you need. So hope this helps out, gives you ideas, and if you end up doing your own, please post a picture. All right, take care. On to step 1. Okay guys, here's the beginning of my outdoor fireplace project, and we've decided on the location and gone ahead and dug out a 4-foot footing, which we will pour as soon as we get a couple days of dry weather. So the next step is creating the forms for this footing. Rained very heavily yesterday, so the soil's a little bit muddy. We'll wait a little bit of time for it to dry out. Setting the forms completely level, and then just backstopping them so they don't move around, putting some stakes in, and then hopefully pouring some concrete today. Okay, the next step, now this is getting done while we're in the middle of the coronavirus, so I'm just looking at things that I might have laid around the yard or the house or whatever. So you want to add something that's metal in there to provide stability and support and strength to the anything you can find in the yard. I found grills from an old refrigerator and stove and whatever you can find that's metal and thick. It's good to put in there to add extra strength. Mixing in a wheelbarrow from side to side, probably about 6 or 8 times back and forth. So I lost count on the amount of bags I'm putting in so far, but I still got a couple more to do. You can put a piece of wood in there. You need to put your foot down so you could spread it easier, especially if you're dealing with a garden like this where you don't want to trample over all of your plants. So we'll just get a couple of bags at the end. I'll give you a tally on how many bags it took and how much, what kind of bag, how much water I put in as well. Okay. So at this point, we have the form filled in, using my little piece of wood so I can access the far corners. And we're taking a long piece of wood, using it as a screed, and moving it back and forth to level it out so that the concrete is uniform as we shake it back and forth. You'll see a little wave of concrete that carries in front of it, and that we'll use to just get the low spots around the corners, around there, just keep going this process until we're completely flat. And once you have it filled to the top, and you use your screed to go back a few times, it's still a little choppy, so take a float. If you don't have a magnesium one like this one like this will work as well. And back and forth, fill in the holes. You can see it's starting to get a finish. And if you have, because you make it look pretty if you want, if you're not going to fill it dirt, there's an edge fill. Give you a nice edge. So this is the finished product of the footing. I went over it with the magnesium trowel in a circular motion and created that kind of finish. Not really necessary, but that's just how I roll. Alright, so this project's going a little bit slower than I anticipated. I'm going to fill in that whole section there, then fill in all the holes with some additional rubble that I have, and some Portland cement with 2 parts sand, 1 part Portland cement, and make it all nice and level so I can start building the actual fireplace. So the platform is done. I filled in each of the holes with some rubble from another concrete slab project back over there, and now basically that is the width of the outside of the fireplace box. So we're starting with setting the width, which coincides with this 4-foot angle line. You don't want it to make it smaller than 4 feet, because then you'll have to cut the angle line, and the box will be smaller as well if you add the fire bricks inside. So I think 4 feet wide, even amount of space on either side is good. Okay, so I just laid the first course. This is pretty much what the inside of the fireplace is going to be like. A couple of tips here. What you'll have to do is have a full block, half block, and then alternate back and forth. This way you get structural stability. These are the fire bricks that I'm going to be using, and I also, when you're laying these down, you want to get a square just to make sure you're at a perfect 90-degree angle, and everything's nice and straight. Definitely make sure you use levels. And one other tip is with the blocks. There are 3 different kinds of blocks. First kind is this one here, which has no clean finish on either end. That would go in the middle here. Then you have your next block, which has a finished side over here where you could put on the ends. And then you have this block that also has a finished size, but it's really meant for splitting. That's hence the opening over here and the double walls right here. So you would hit that with a mason hammer all the way along the edges here, and then over here and here, in order to split the block. And that's it for today. I'll show you progress on the next course, and it should be shaping up soon. Take care. So we put another course on today, and I realized I made a mistake. So when you're building 2 walls that are perpendicular here, you should interlock them, meaning that this one block here needs to go on the opposing side. That's way it's interlocked, and you should never have a joint over each other. So it's not a big deal, because I'm going to correct it in the courses that precede it. But in the future, I would have put the that block there in the front, and then the solid block right there up against the other one, and then it would have been fine. So we corrected it. It's fine. There's no structural defect. Okay, so this is a progress. This is essentially the firebox, the size it's going to be. I'm using a 4-foot level and a smaller level as well, in order to level everything out. What you see there, where that level is, there will be a piece of steel called an angle iron going across. There'll be two of those to hold another row of a block across the top, and then doing home with a bunch of other things like that. You'll see in the next video. So it looks pretty good. All in all, not too bad. You just have to make sure everything's level, and the mortar filling everything, so doesn't look too bad. It's pretty straight. Okay, so here's a setup on how the top is going to be built. I'll give you a partial view, so it's before I continue with the dry fit, in order to give you a better understanding of what I'm probably going to do. So I'm using these angle irons. Okay, you can get them on Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever. And the first course over the front, there'll be 3 cinder blocks there. I will be filling these. I might actually make a lightweight cement mix by adding some styrofoam, and then there's 3 blocks that go directly across the back, and then we're going to put blocks sideways to close in this hole, so that this reclaimed ceramic stack will fit on top of. Alright, so that's what it looks like. Give you another update when I have more block up, and it looks more like a chimney stack. Okay, a few more blocks up, and this is basically how it's going to look like. I'm going to add another block there, another block here, one more in the back over there, and then when you're using half blocks here, 4x8s, in order to, and I'll probably slide some sort of, I'll cut another 4x8 to size in this gap here and the gap in the back, and that should create a good footing for this stack. At which point I'll probably surround it with some more to give it some more size, and I'll show you when I get to that point. Okay, so the latest update here is this is pretty much going to be the setup. I've laid out the perimeter blocking and filled it with some bluestone or whatever I could get my hands on, and mixed it with concrete so that they're nice and solid and waterproofed. And this is essentially, we're going to put another set of fire bricks over here. I just removed those so you can actually see the angle iron that I had to put down there. I don't know if you could actually see it's sort of doubled up. I have 2 of them back to back, and then I added just another thinner gauge one on top of that to reinforce it, because this center section here is where all the weight is going to be bared. The rest of the block is sitting on the fire brick wall that was built, which is secured to the outer wall. So it looks like I ran a fire once, and I'm a little apprehensive about leaving it this way, thinking that possibly the blocks are going to crack, or this is just a regular cinder block that's filled with concrete. So I took a piece of looks like ductwork material, but pretty decent gauge. It's not the thinner type. So we're going to put this in there and bend it around the the block underneath, and that should act as a little barrier. Highly doubt anything will happen to this or melt. I don't believe the fire will be hot enough. So I'll give you the next update after I get that in. Okay. Until next time. So this is what it looks like with the blocks filled in and the metal sheathing wrapped around those two cinder blocks. As I mentioned before, I filled in the two other corners with, I believe, 2 or 3, I think it looks like 2 fire bricks, because that's where a lot of the heat's going to be going up through. Here's a shot of the bottom, how it's been finished. I think it's pretty good. So now you'll see I've added a section of ceramic flue to the top here, getting ready to start building the next section of cinder block half blocks. So now I've started building the upper section. It's basically half blocks all the way around, 2 blocks across, 1.5 deep, and I'd be filling the void in between those blocks and the flue with some bricks and some extra things to just stabilize and reinforce the flue. On the ledge that's created by having the smaller stack of block on top, I'll be adding limestone to that as well. Okay, so that was start to finish, and basically you'll see that I have this limestone on top here that I'll be adding shortly, and after that point I'll be able to start placing these stones against the wall with some mortar. Probably first start on the corners, and this is the overhang probably on the stone. I'll probably end up, because there's a non-chipped edge over here, end up cutting this stone on an angle along with this one as well, and it's basically going to look like that. This way I'll have the real stones that I attach to here up underneath here, and it should look good. Not sure if I'm going to create any type of arch here or something like that, but I'll have to build some sort of reinforcement to hold those stones while they set, but that'll be in another video when I start doing the stonework. So hope you enjoyed. Like I said, please like or subscribe, and if you have any tips or ideas, please share. This way anyone else who's viewing would also partake in that. All right, hope you enjoyed. Thanks again.